Hello, everyone. This is Dan Gramza, and welcome to Gramza Market Studies for Friday, October 16th, and greetings from Costa Mesa, California. Had a wonderful trip out here today, except a bit of a challenge at the end of the flight when the stewardess was passing out coats. I didn't receive one, and I assumed a coat that I saw hanging was mine, which was a mistake, because it was not mine, and my coat was passed to someone else, and we have not been able to locate it. Now, it's not the end of the world. No one was hurt. It is just a suit, a recently purchased suit, though, and a relatively expensive suit, actually a very expensive suit that I don't particularly want to replace, but it looks like there's a high probability that's going to happen. But you know what those kind of things remind me of is for us, for both of us. How do you and I react to challenges that occur in our life? That's how I think of them. They're challenges to kind of test how we're going to react to it. And this is where our choices come in. And we know the choices that we make are going to have a tremendous impact on other people, on us, the other thoughts that we have, and how they're going to follow that thought that we begin with. So if I start out with negative thoughts, I'm probably going to end up with negative thoughts. It's very interesting. And plus, what happens there for us is what happens when we trade. We probably carry over that behavior to any business decision that we make. So I just thought I'd mention that. But let's put that aside and let's get over here to the NASDAQ market and the stock indices in general. What we saw in the NASDAQ market, we saw a market that was struggling, basically, kind of a sideways, kind of a market where we had both buyers and sellers present. The bias is that we're still looking for that confirmation. We're looking for a barometer of confidence going into this weekend. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get that kind of follow through there. We have stuff coming out today that could make this kind of an iffy kind of day too. Option expiring and a few other things. Also, I was asked about the mid cap. From this buy point to that sell point. The dollar value of that was $2,200. Apparently I didn't mention it, but that's what the dollar value of that was. Now, let's move on, though. Let's take a look at those currencies. Because, boy, we had some interesting movements there, too. We see in the euro a struggling market yesterday. It breaks to the downside in a rally. Now, you would think buyers supporting this would be a positive thing. I call that a false sense of security. We have to be very cautious up here. That is potentially bearish for us. The same thing for the Swissy. These imply markets that we should start finding some sellers. That's what it says to us. That it's not a sign of strength, actually. And Mr. Yen, beautiful move. If you look at yesterday's action, Asia is still weak. So we're seeing a little bit of follow through with that. We're not looking for a big move, though, in Mr. Yen to the downside. Australian dollars also. Yesterday, quiet. Asia, we're getting high enough to find a little bit of selling coming into that market. Don't want to lean against that too much. We got to get Europe in here before we make too many judgments about that. But we want to be sensitive to that. Same thing in the British pound. We're looking for a relatively quiet range in the British pound today, but we want it to stay positive. Same thing for the Canadian dollar. We are softening up. This is bearish. We're looking for this market to back off. But how it does, it's going to be our key. And if we look at the interest rate markets, well, they're soft across the board. The short end of the curve, nothing really very strong in that respect in terms of behavior. We got to check out that contract. These are day sessions here in the notes and bonds. And we are looking for unchanged to lower in these markets. We're looking for further weakness going into the weekend in the interest rate markets. And when it comes to metals, well, we see gold went through that sell point. And for that particular market, the dollar value between this buy point and that sell point was $5,300 is the dollar value of that move. And we are looking for not a big move. I'd be very cautious on the short side for this market. Now, that's what this would imply, is setting up a short position. And it reached magnitude objective, but it's the location of it, the structure of it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see an up move next week is what I'm saying. So how we finish today is going to be important. Same thing for silver. And silver, it also went through that sell point, and from that buy point to that sell point in silver, that would be $1,160 is the dollar value of that move. And for our friend Mr. Copper, it looks like buyers are trying to come into this market below 280, but can we get follow through? I'm not so confident about that. It implies that we should today, and it'd be a wonderful way to close out the week. But this is a market waiting for an excuse. That's how it's behaving. And if we look at the energy markets, we'll look at crude oil. It took out 75, did it with both hands. A nice healthy move. It's beautiful. We're not looking for a big move today though in crude oil at all. We're looking for a kind of an unchanged to slightly higher type day. Natural gas may be getting low enough to find buyers. Today is going to be important. It sets the tone for next week. So are we going to find buyers at this level? That's what it says. Beans also traded through its sell point, and the dollar value from the buy point to the sell point in beans is $4,200 is the dollar value of that move. In corn, it also went through that sell point, and the dollar value of that move is $1,500. And also our friend Mr. Wheat traded back through that sell point, and the dollar value of that move would be $900 per contract. These are potentially setting up a sideways type market. I wouldn't feel, and the reason I'm saying that is because of the shadows, how it reacted. There's structural elements that we see here that today I think is going to be very important for the longer term aspect when it comes to these markets. Well, this concludes today's market studies. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Looking forward to being with you again. And in the meantime, take care.